What up, though? This is Al again, and welcome back to Chat Old Poker. I talked a little bit in my last video about the math of poker, so I wanted to cover one of the concepts, and I want to make it as simple as possible for novice players and new players like myself. And it has to do with mastering the rule of 2 and 4. If you remember those two numbers, 2 and 4, very simple. Basically what it has to do with is basically estimating the odds of you hitting your hand, hitting the hand that you want when you're playing poker. So this is a way of estimating your odds of hitting your hand when you see the flop, and are you going to hit the hand by the river, for example. So here's how it goes. Basically, to start, we'll start with 4. So let's say we're on what's called a flush draw. A flush draw meaning I have, say, 2 clubs in my hand, and the flop comes out. There's 2 other clubs and another diamond card. Doesn't matter what the cards are. So I can see in my hand, with my hand, I can see 4 clubs. I have 2 in my hand, and then there's 2 on the felt turned up for community. So there are 9 cards left, and the reason that I know this is because there's 52 cards in a deck. There's 4 suits, and out of all those 4 suits, when I say suits, hearts, diamonds, clubs, spades, there's 13 of each. Well, if I got 2 clubs, there's 2 clubs on the table, that's 4. 13 minus 4 leaves 9. That 9 is a very important number. That 9 are the number of outs that you actually have. So if I take that 9 and I'm at the flop, and the flop is those first 3 cards that come out, and I multiply that 9 by 4, that gives me 9 times 4 is 36. So that means that there's a 36% chance that I'll hit the card that I want, or another flush, by another club, by the river, and that's the last card that's pulled. A 36% chance. It doesn't mean that, every time you do this is gonna work. Basically, this is over a period of time of play. So the period of time you're playing, you gotta keep that in mind. It's almost like if you flip a coin, heads or tails, 50% of the time it should be heads, 50% of the time it's gonna be tails. But it takes a while before it gets to that point. There's a period of time involved. Remember, this is the rule of 2 and 4. I just discussed 4 with you. Here's when 2 comes into play. So now the flop comes out. Now the next card comes out. Still haven't hit your club yet. I still have those 2 clubs on the table, 2 here, and I've got, say, 2 diamonds. There are a diamond and a heart. I got 1 more card left, and that's the river. So I'm going to take the number of cards that are there, the 4 that I see. I got my odds, my outs, which are 9. So I'm going to multiply that 9. Instead of multiplying it by 4 this time, I'm going to multiply it by 2. So 9 times 2 is 18, which means there's an 18% chance that I'll hit a flush by the river. So now my odds of hitting the number itself drops by half. And you could use a simple rule for anything that you have. Basically, you're going to calculate how many outs you have based on the hand that you have. If it's the flop, you multiply it by 4. If you're waiting for that next card to be the river, the card right before the river itself that's played, you multiply it by 2. So in another example, let's say that you have an open-ended straight, for example. So I get my cards and I have 6, 7 for the kids out there. 6, 7. I hope no kids are watching this. And the flop comes out 5, 8, and a king. So I got 6, 7, 5, 8. So I have a straight draw, a straight that I'm working on, a draw, basically. So by counting the cards that are there, I have 4 cards at the beginning of that straight that'll give me, that's the low card. And I have 4 cards at the top that will give me a straight, possibly. That's 8 cards in total. 8 times 4, when it's the flop, 32. So my percentage is about 32%. And after the flop, that next card that comes out, and I'm waiting on that river, what am I going to multiply it by? Right, multiply it by 2. So then 8 times 2 is 16. So there's a 16% chance that I'll hit my open end straight based on that. So it's just simple rules that I use in poker, and it takes a little bit to get used to. You may kind of like fumble around with it for a little bit, but the key is count your outs, multiply the number of cards that you have for your outs by 4 at the flop, multiply the number of cards by 2 before the river. Keep that in mind. Oh, and one other thing. If you have a situation where you have cards that could be used more than once, only count the card once. So for example, if you're working on a straight flush, for example, an open-end straight flush. So you've got the 5, 6, 7, 8 that you see, and you're looking for a 9, or you're possibly looking for the 4 on the other end, you can only count the cards that you have once. So if you're missing something, or you're looking for a flush of some manner, just make sure you don't double count your cards. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please like and subscribe. I'm a new poker player just like you, and I'm trying to learn the game, and I'm sharing the information that I understand in play. So I hope to see you on the felt out there soon in that poker tournament we were talking about in the last video. So if you're out there, please like, subscribe, and welcome to Chat Over Poker. Have a blessed felt day.